Is this stable? I'm used to spoken word, so I don't want to, be moving around up here, do a split. Y'all be posting some TEDx fails on YouTube. So I'm Marquis Victor. Before I get into my talk, I got to say something. So I was running a class at the Boys and Girls Club. And I told them I was going back to Central to do a talk. So they asked me what the talk was going to be. So I said, I got real serious. I looked at them. It's mostly girls. I said, I'm going back to Central. I'm talking about the dangers of selfies. And so a couple of them laughed, and I remained stoic. So I said, I'm dead serious. You didn't read about the National Metaphysical Journal study that just came out. They said every time you take a selfie, a piece of your soul is ripped off. I don't know if there's any Harry Potter fans in here, but it's like a Horcrux. All right, I said, oh, you like that reference? Word. That's what I like. So I said, and it gets so bad that in some cases, you take those selfies in the bathroom when you're perched to the side like this, camera cocked, making those duck lips. If you take a selfie like that, there's a chance the ground might open up and you get sucked into the abyss. So, the girls were laughing, but there was one girl, she was like, she was deleting those selfies at her hip. But anyway, I said that it's slightly irrelevant, but it's not. I graduated here in 2004, right? When I was at Central, I was really stupid, all right? I was egotistical. I was irrationally rebellious. I didn't listen to anybody. And as my man Mr. O'Neill knows very well, I was not easily controlled. So I got a scholarship from here to go play basketball. I played basketball here. A lot of pounding of the chest and all that nonsense. I went and played basketball. I got a scholarship. 6 months into that scholarship, they gave me the boot. And my parents then kicked me out of the house. Because, like I said, I was rebellious, I was out of control. I didn't understand anything about life or anything about truth. So I went to live with a friend of a friend of a friend of a family somewhere in Providence. If anybody knows Providence, I was right off Broad Street on this place called Carr Street. You do not want to go there, okay? You don't want to go there. So I got into some real bad stuff, to say the least. I ended up getting a call from a coach at a junior college out there, wanted me to get back into school, start to get my life back together, which I did. Okay, so we're talking about the origin story right here. That moment, like I said, I repressed a lot, all right? I repressed a lot through high school. I thought it was cool to be dumb, all right? I didn't think it was cool to access those things that I liked, like writing, like art, like poetry, right? So when I started taking classes at that point, I was thinking a little bit differently, all right? I went through some, not anywhere near some of the stories you've heard today, but I went through my own trials and tribulations, all right? So I started writing again, all right? I started writing. I started finding this release, started thinking about bigger things. I eventually got into this history of music class that changed my life. We had to go to this concert for one of our assignments. Right, I think it was Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 5. We had to watch it, we had to write, we had to reflect on it. And so when I walked in this place, I was blown away. I listened to the music, and it was a beauty that I didn't see outside of a female to that point in my life. All right? My only understanding of beauty was a woman. That's it. So at this point, my heart was stirred. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It changed my life. And then I also at that time looked around. I looked at the symphony, and I saw a pretty consistent demographic. I looked around me, and I saw a pretty consistent demographic. My class, I was the only one of a different ethnicity than Caucasian. So I started to ask the question, why is that? Look what art is doing to me. Look what art has done to me. Why isn't there more diversity, right? So fast forward to 2008. All right, one of the co-founders and lead muralists of Elevated Thought, Alex Bryan, he's doing a senior thesis. All right, he's doing a mural and an installation piece in his brother's warehouse. The title is called Sorrow in the City. You have this city, decrepit, shadowy, with little glimmers of hope. There's a saxophone player. He's playing, and there's music notes flowing in and out of the city, and it goes over to a girl who's crying, and one of the tears that forms says the word why. And so I'm writing a poetry piece to that, and we started this discussion. One of the other co-founders was there, and we're starting to ask why. Why is there so much sorrow in the city? Why is it never ending? Why is it unceasing? Right? And so I lift my head up and I say, well, look at art. Look at this message on this wide scale. With art, we can demand answers. We can ask questions. We can seek creative solutions. And I said, this is elevated thought, what we're doing right here. And thus, elevated thought was born. So, who we are, we're a 501c nonprofit, officially established in 2010. We serve, inspire, and build communities in need through art. And our artists and our students, they're given the skills, the tools, the opportunities, the education to become creative revolutionaries. All right? Art helped me think outside the box in every area of life. Art is infused in every piece of light. What creativity is, it's how you see the world. It's like looking at the world through a prism. You see the world in all different lights and all different colors, right? So what happens if that gift is given to people who are not having that symphony orchestra, not having art except for 2 days, 2 days maybe in 2 months, right? What happens? What happens when you expose these kids, right? So that led to creative community change. That led to our mural program. That led to our scholarship program. That's a mural that we did at the Boys and Girls Club recently that the kids thought about the theme, right? They helped the process of this mural, right? That's another mural. What the murals do is it uplifts communities. It has people ask questions. What that means? That's at a school in Boston, a low-income school, right? So what this has done, this has pushed kids to want to read more. They see this, they come in the doors, they look at this, they're inspired, and that's part of what we do. That's part of what they need, right? We have a scholarship fund. So we find our artistic student in the inner city. This is Michael. He's from Lynn last year, and he goes to an art school, and he comes back, and now he's going to be interning with us this summer, right? Same thing with our first scholarship winner. I don't know if anybody knows Molly O'Neill. She's coming back, and she's contributing to this community, extending a community. That's what we're doing. Right? And this is the culmination of our mission. Creative community change, C3. And what this is we bring up a social issue. Right? The kids dissect it. They discuss it. They brainstorm. They debate. Then they write about it through poetry and a narrative. We bring our professional artists. They help them translate that visually. Right? And so we do this back and forth for weeks, and then we hone in on a topic. We hone in on a medium, and we create a community project that addresses these issues. We're talking about education. What is education? Inequality in education. Why is there so much crime in the city? Why is there so much poverty? Right? These kids are thinking outside the box. You have 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds that are asking big questions, and they're able to express themselves. They're able to work together collaboratively in ways they never would have before. Right? This is what creates change. This is what creates change. We have to empower those who don't get access to a karate club. I mean, y'all got a karate club here. Y'all got a karate club. You're doing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon choreography up here. All right? Kids in the inner city, they don't have that. All right? We talk about grit. We talk about all these things. Well, what about giving them the tools? What about giving them the opportunity? What about giving them the exposure to make it out of their circumstances, not to make it out and leave, but to leave and come back and help change the soil, right? Change the soil, uplift the community, all right? If you see what's going on in education right now, state takeovers, math, all this stuff, boom, boom, MCAS, right? Rigor. You got Teach for America coming in, don't understand the cultural context of the students they're working with, 2 years and they're out. That's not going to work. The soil needs to change. When the soil changes, the fruit grows. That's how you change a city. That's how you start a creative revolution. And that's what our students are doing. All right, and I'm going to end on one last story. Tangible hope. All right, we have some students in here that are graduating. All right, we have some folks that are in college. Life is bigger. Like, I didn't know when I was here. Like, I didn't know when I was in Central. I didn't know that life was bigger than me. Life is much bigger than me. And what are you going to do with that knowledge? Everyone, doesn't matter what you do, a lawyer, doctor, electrician, you can do your part to be an agent of change. You can do your part to be an agent of change. Right? So, my 9 to 5 right now, I'm a dean of students in Boston, right? So, a couple years ago, I had this girl. She's one of my favorites. Now listen, you got teachers, a lot of teachers in this room that say they don't have favorites. They're lying. They got favorites. Everybody in education has favorites, and I had a favorite. Her name was Gigi, right? This girl was tough. She was sharp, right? I remember one time they were playing basketball recess. She's in kindergarten, by the way. So, she is kindergarten. So she's playing basketball with the boys, the only girl playing basketball. She rolls over somebody's foot, lands on her wrist, right? She comes in, I'm like, Gigi, what happened? She's holding her wrist, right? Just regular. She's like, I don't know, my wrist feels funny. She comes back the next day in a cast. She broke her wrist, right? This girl didn't I broke my wrist in 8th grade. I was on the floor like I got shot, okay? All right? So this is February vacation a couple of years ago, and it's Gigi's birthday. All right? So I go outside. I want to say happy birthday to Gigi. She got a little crown on. She has some balloons. All right? So, Gigi and I are talking. Gigi loves questions. She loves asking questions. And it's funny because that's a lot what we do in Elevated Thought. We push the students to ask questions. They own the discussion. They ask the questions. So she's asking me questions. She goes, Mr. Victor, what are you doing on February vacation? I said, Gigi, I'm going to Florida. I'm going on vacation to Florida. Are you taking a plane or are you driving? I said, I'm taking a plane. She's like, you going to bring suntan lotion? Because you're going to get burned. I seen you burn. It doesn't look on you. You get real red. So I said, thank you, Gigi. So she, we're talking. She got her balloons, and she goes, talks to her friends. I get engaged with a couple other kids. I turn back. Gigi's looking up at the sky. So I look up at the sky. I see the balloons floating off. So my immediate reaction is I look. I'm thinking that Gigi's going to be crying because she lost her balloons, but I forgot that it's Gigi, and she ain't going to be crying. So I look at Gigi. She's looking up at the balloons. And I just said, Gigi, you good? You got more balloons inside? She goes, no, when you go on vacation next week, just tell the pilot to go pick up those balloons and bring it to me next week. So, real talk. So that right there, there's a couple things right there, right? It's really thinking outside the box, even though that's not plausible, right? She was thinking outside the box. But the hope that she had did something to me, right? And that is a testament to all the kids, because often in the city, you see a kid with that much hope, and that hope is drained. Within a couple years, it's drained. Their circumstances just drain them, and the hope is gone, right? Now, Darwin said this. When he presented his theory of evolution, he was concerned about the metaphysical ramifications of that. He thought then people could use that philosophy to say society would be red in tooth and claw, survival of the fittest. Right? Survival of the fittest. That's not how we are. That kills hope. Right? That kills hope, because it is not just about us. It's about making sure that hope is pushed forward, and that these cities rise up, and that these kids rise up, and they get to realize the hope that they have. All right? So especially these graduating students, you want to solidify yourself. You want to have a strong foundation, but don't forget, part of your duty as a human is to be an agent of change and to uplift communities. Thank you.